$500,000.
For the first payment. But what?
But you're going to have more, because the third year, you're going to do a 3%, which is 3%.
Yeah, and it's all going to be there, and it's just going to compound every year. And I don't know how you all do things. I come from self-employed people, we always pay it anyway, but I always pay in at the end of the year my taxes, because I don't give the government an interest-free loan all year. And so the people of Littlestown are giving us an interest-free loan until we decide that we're going to move on ACPI, until the rest of the county agrees that we're going to move on ACPI, and we're collecting the interest, and it's sitting in our bank account, and nothing's being done with it. And again, nothing concrete has ever come to us about ACPI. Sean's never come over here while we've been in. I know he came to the last board, but a lot's changed. It's went from 40 to 60 or 70 in a year. So I'm going to get off my
Can
soapbox.
I say something? It might be easier for taxpayers to swallow, and I'm only speaking because I'm a board member, and we're the only ones here tonight.
Yeah.
But it might be easier for the taxpayers to swallow a tax increase when you can take something concrete and show them, okay, this is what we have. I don't know. It doesn't, in my opinion, at this point, it doesn't seem like we have anything concrete to even warrant a 1% tax increase for this coming year.
It's a continued discussion that we need to have as the vision becomes more realistic and people can climb on board and say, okay, I can see this effort. But at this point in time, you know, it's a discussion that's ongoing, and I see your position, the administration's position, I see NCTI's position and what they want to do, but we need to keep.
Wait, let me ask one question. If we raise taxes 1% this year, how much are you putting into the ACPI from this year?
It would be whatever the board directs me to. If they would say all 1% is earmarked for ACTI, as they did last year.
You're saying 180,000.
I would put that 180,000.
So you're saying only the current year's increase 180,000, not the 1% from last year, but it's still in there.
Both. Both
So,
would go.
so that would, it would belong to, then it would be, we'd have 360,000 revenue every year forever for ACTI.
No, that's not.
Until the bill came due, and then that would be no longer.
No, the 180,000
But
last year.
it would be 360,000 in revenue we're going to collect every year. Yeah.
We would collect, we would have that as a fund balance.
I don't think we're on the same page.
What I'm saying is that's what we would do, and then whenever that debt service bill would come due, it would no longer be on our fund balance. That would then go to our ACTI's that are debt service.
I don't think
So
we're on
you,
the same page.
at the end of next year, if you increase it to 1%, so you had the 1% from last year, the 2% from this year, you had 540. So then that would be one payment.
All right.
So you
That would be
technically,
every year from then on.
so
you would have
then if you would stop at those two,
We would have one payment, and we would have 360 for the following year, because we used the 540 hand.
Right.
We would still be short the 180. We'd have to pay that out of other fund balance. That's what I'm saying, is we have to ramp up. So if we did a third year of the 540, you would have enough for 2 payments, and the third payment would be there. So that's
not even paying right away.
well, that's based off the information we have on hand now. So that's what I said. We have to build a plan based off the information, because, like I said, we can do 0 until ACTI comes due. But then the board at the time when it
But
comes
we're
due.
not doing 0. We have last year's 1%.
I'm saying
That's 180,000 every year.
I get it, but there's a difference between the 1% that we have and the 4 or 3% that's needed. So we need that difference. So at the board at the time, if it's 3 years, 5 years, whoever, is going to have to commit to raise the subsequent taxes to make that tax bill.
What we're saying is, we don't even have a plan or a start date or anything.
So
We're saying, how do we know we need these
I'll just say,
things?
look how quickly the plan came together for our high school and their debt service.
Years. It was 5 or 6 years.
When we actually officially had a design and plan.
But the
We
board
went out to
started
bid and
talking
had
about
it
it
started.
5 years before.
They've been talking about it for 8 years.
Then,
That's what I'm saying, once the plan gains steam, they will have it built within a year and a half.
Okay.
And
you've
it
got
will be-
leadership changing there, you've got all kinds of stuff happening.
Let's
So, we've already talked about a lot of it, so just matching, like I said, that if we want some of those priorities on expenses, they have to match with the tax increase, which says $180,000. Some of it was discussions from avoid sandwich. A lot of this is discussions, is future proofing. Decisions we make now create success in the future, similar to what we're doing with athletics. So the decision with the softball, if we look to reorient it, has an impact for 3 to 5 years whenever we do that. So what we do now, we do nothing for ACTI, has an impact on what the future boards and future students can or can't do. And then, like I alluded to, there's potential for an operational increase here at the district to keep pace with salary and benefits and inflation. Because last year, in essence, we did a 0 because of 1% earmark for ACTI. We will have other things that are keeping pace, that we have to keep pace with. So I just remind the board that 2.75% was all attributed to the debt service to the building. Prior to that was all debt service towards the building. We had several years operationally at a 0% to not keep pace with salary and benefits. At some point that catches up with you. And this could be the year for that. So that's why I'm alluding to that, because that's probably more than likely the case. It's going to be something needed for operational.
But you're not asking for a 1% tax.
No,
You're
you're
gonna be
not.
asking for a lot more.
No, I could be, it just might not, we might prioritize 1% for operational over ACTI. So I'm saying is we have to prioritize as a committee and as a board, which one we want to prioritize. Are we looking to doing just ATI? Are we looking to do operational? Which one weights more for staffing? These are all conversations we're going to have over the next 2 to 3 months before a full budget comes out.
It makes me,
The budget's developed over time and they're fluid until we get to June. And you guys ultimately decide what the final budget is set for next year.
but it's, this picture that you're presenting is a different picture than what we're getting last year. When, I felt as though we were being told that we were looking at a 0% operational for a number for at least 3 to 4 years out.
All the contracts and everything we approved last year, all the increases for salaries and everything we did.
I'll just
All of
say
that was
that-
told that there's no budget impact. And money, I guess, was moved around and found and everything for administration raises and things like that. So that,
I'll just say, every year a budget is a year snapshot. We learn from the prior year and we move forward. We are trying to make it a budget decision. So what you make in June, we don't realize what those effects are until the following June through October when the audit's done and we get to look backwards. So we have to base this budget information off of the information we have on hand now. So we've had a year's worth of, a year and a half's worth of information to base this budget off of. So at the time, that information could have been correct. Now we're looking at it, it might not be the same this time around than it was last time. And that's why every budget is unique every year. Because all this stuff builds up and we get to look backwards. Was that enough? Was it not enough? Do we need more? Do we need less?
What's this keep new facilities looking good?
So we have a brand new middle school, high school.
I get it.
New equipment has a new preventive maintenance plan. So we want to keep those things running and operating smoothly. You can't just do nothing for the next couple of years. There's still like maintenance that has to be done. So that's why I say keep the new facilities looking good. We have to clean them, we have to do stuff. There's more.
But we have a maintenance department.
Correct, but I'm saying is there's things that they can't do because there's only 2 people. They can't maintain all the buildings with just 2 people. Some things are contracted.
Well, we're going down to 2 buildings.
So that's where it's comes in, even with the custodial staff, is they can only do so much and they can keep pace with it so much. So sometimes we don't want the same thing that's happening with the middle school now where it's falling behind with the stuff we just invested into. So if we keep that going, keep a preventive maintenance cycle healthy, we can keep those facilities looking, and that's where that comes from.
I think I just thought that it was gonna be very different with this high school, middle school project, that things were gonna get consolidated better.
And I don't disagree with you.
It doesn't sound like it.
I don't disagree with you. I think we're not at that space now. We have 2 or 3 more
Well,
years
just move
until we
people
get
in
there.
phase 1.
Yeah,
It was
but-
only, what, a year?
But we
Well,
don't
we
have,
haven't combined the bill, we haven't merged yet, so
Yeah,
you're
but
not
that's within
getting.
a year. Isn't that within the year that that's gonna happen?
it potentially could start next February, or it could
Or-
start the 26th, 27th, and then I would just say, we need an ear to know where people are at, to know where the efficiencies can be had. We can't just say, this is an efficiency we, on paper, will work. When it comes to reality, we don't actually know if it's gonna be. So until we're there for a year and we can realize those, that's 27, 28.
Yeah.
But you're, okay, but you're asking for things that to us is sort of going to, things are gonna change.
So the
why would
conversation
we do
is,
that?
what do we do in the meantime until we get there? When 27, 28 comes, we can readdress and say, those positions we added for the past few years, we don't no longer need them, but they made us operationally sound for those past 2 years. And that's what administration, we look at it, says, what do we need at this point in time at the budget? This is what we need for this year. Every year, if we don't need it, we come back and we'll say, it's no longer needed. Or, okay, we missed this from last year, we need to add this.
Jeannie, has the board ever been given any kind of like departmental like budget in terms of like, this is what this department wants this year over last year, or this is what this department wants this
That
year
used to
over
be the
last year?
old budget packet, they used to get that every year. We've transitioned now away from that in departmental budget to more of a consolidated packet.
Where's the consolidated plan?
You weren't here for that last year.
Oh, it's not, you mean for this year, it's not ready?
April.
Yeah, We just finished.
April to May is the time
Oh, so you
frame.
can consolidate the budget package.
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, I think
There's a lot of redundancy in that budget packet.
it's gonna help us,
We
you
love
know,
it.
like,
You did, you always did.
because right now, Tom, you're probably the most popular guy in the school district. People are wanting their budget approved, and they're coming to you. And I think that, I'm gonna speak for myself as the ED. I think that, at least for me, I'm looking to give taxpayers as much of the as soon as possible.
That's where my job comes in, when the board tells me. So when we go through these priorities, so some of these could make the next round of the review. And if they do, then that's something that the administration will say, then we recommend, these are the things we want, we recommend this tax increase. The board says, we want no tax increase, or we want only with this, then it's my job to be able to make it
I
work.
think I would have, is this the end of the presentation?
Correct, yes.
Because I think I would have been more open to anything you said if there was also, this is what we're looking to cut, this is what we're looking to save in. But all we got was, this is what we want, give me, my name is Jimmy.
And that's what, I mean,
And I feel
I
like
think
we
that's
did.
why you and Don were very successful last year in getting a lot of your asks, because there was not a lot of, we were always told there's no budget impact.
Right.
We were able to move this around, this is
Right.
the budget. Everything here, we were basically just told to do anything, we need a tax increase. And that's not gonna go over.
No. No, we need to see where you're gonna be, you know.
And you need to be able to lay it out. What would this look like if we do a zero? What this looks like if we do that? And I know you did it
We need
with
numbers.
your schedule up on the top there, percentages. So, thank you very much for your presentation.
Try again next time.
Sorry.
I'll just remember next time I'll have to nauseam with numbers and.
No, seriously, I mean, numbers would have been helpful and tell me,
I get it.
we are
There's a
being
quick-
aggressive in cutting things and being more economic.
So with the quick turnaround with the budget meetings, we didn't have the information prepared. That's why I said, this is just what we looked at, this is what came as a priority. So I want to distinguish between the wants and the priorities. So these are some of the things that I will say that we'll probably make the next time that we're going to continue to have as a priority, because this is what administration believes in. So
Show us the other side.
So what we'll do is we'll say, okay, here's some things. So the conversation that we want to try to get out of is, what we want to talk about is, if we make any realistic cuts, are they a one-time cut? So did we cut an equipment or supply? That's a one-time cut. Or did we cut other, because that's the difference we need to, so if we're adding personnel or staffing, the one-time cut's not going to supplement.
Well, we're counting on you, we'll see you next month.
Okay,
All right?
so is
I
there
want to see
any,
your checkbook.